Welcome to Erndales. My name is Dale and this is my YouTube channel Erndales, and I'm so very happy to see you today. Welcome everybody. Before I say anything else, I just want to have a moment to say I am so very thankful. Thank you so much for your response to my last video. Usually my videos get about 100 and some views. I don't know why, but that last video where I made the little pouch bag, I got 1.1K viewers, and I do not know why. It just kind of blew me away. And I also got a whole bunch of new subscribers. So I want to say a very welcome to any new subscribers that I have received this past week. I hope you enjoyed that video, and I hope you go back and watch some of my other videos. I have a lot of content on here. I think I'm over 220 videos. And also thank you to my old subscribers for tuning in every week and following me. I really do appreciate it. I also appreciate your beautiful comments. Thank you so much for all your positive comments and all the nice things you say about my music, because I think a lot of you do appreciate the little song I put at the end. So thank you very much. I do appreciate it. I also want to tell you, if you're new to my channel, that I am on Instagram as Erndales and More. And I do have a Facebook page, Erndales, as well as I write a blog, and I have been very bad about writing my blog as of late. But my blog is on blogspot.com. It's Erndales and More at blogspot.com. That's a mouthful. All the information is below. So thank you so much. I'm still thinking about that video and wondering what was it about that video that it just went so crazy. But I do appreciate it. Anyway, today I am going to give you a tour. I've done a massive cleanup in this studio of mine. I cannot believe what I unearthed, and I will show you some of the things that I unearthed in my cleanup. So I gathered up a few of the things that I found to show you, things that I completely forgot that I had even started. And the oldest one is 35 years old. I kid you not. And it is this. I don't know if you can guess who this is. This is Humpty Dumpty. I've got his body, even got his little shirt thing on. I've done his face, and I've got all the pieces here cut out. His hands, his feet, his pants. I'm only missing one shoe. That I did not find. And Humpty, I was making this for my son, who is now 35 years old. So you can imagine how old this is. Well, I don't know that he'd appreciate getting this anymore. Part of me would like to finish it and give it to him for Christmas, but I don't think I'll do that. He would probably think it's really funny. Instead, I will finish it though, because I always thought it was such a cute little thing. I'm going to finish it, and whoever has a baby next is going to get this. So that's one of the things that I found. And there's a whole bunch of these things. I used to make bears and dolls and all this kind of stuff. Well, there's a bear here. He's all there. He's even sewn together, most of them. I just have to stuff him and put him together. He's even got his eyes on. So that's another good project for a new coming baby in the family, whoever, niece or nephew or whoever. And then there's a couple of tildes, which I have made a lot of, and I make tilde angels. So there's two tildes cut out in here. There's some big bears. This is a big bear. I've cut him out on some pretty brocade. I like to make bears out of different things besides fur all the time. I like the brocade ones, and I usually crochet a collar for them, a fancy Victorian type collar. So I got this one, and then I've got one in blue jeans, and then I've got a little bear like this to put together, and then I have a cow. I'll show you. I've made several pairs of these and I've sold them. Oh dear, all the pattern pieces are coming. So there's Ferdinand and what's her name? And Clara. And who I have cut out is Ferdinand. These are adorable when they're done. And I've made, like I said, I've made several of them, pairs of them. So I've got Ferdinand's body here, and I was making his little jeans, what do you call them? Overalls, and his shirt. Everything is cut out here, just ready to be sewn together. So there's another project for me to work on. And part of me is thinking I should do a Clara to go with it. And I have lots of material for that. And then I found, some interesting stitching things that I had done. So here's one. It's just applique, but I made a little scene. It even has a little basket of knitting in it. See, with little balls of wood and 2 needles. And I just did it all with stitching. These 2 little pictures were just a Christmas print that had those, so I cut them out and I just stitched around them. I made the little lamp on the table and the chairs, and the basket of wool and the little pillow. Now, this alone would be cute if you just framed it, but I'm going to add it to a project somewhere. Either a project bag would be kind of cute to put it onto a project bag, maybe. I don't know. I'll see. And then I have this. It says, "It's only with the heart that one can see rightly." I can add that to a project bag. And then I made this out of crazy quilt, this heart. I can add that to a project bag. So I found some treasures as well, things that I know I can use, like these things. I can use these on project bags. And I found quite a few things like this, where I have stitched something and had a picture with it so that I can, I can incorporate this into some kind of project. So those are some of the things that I found. There's a lot more that I found, but I don't want to make this video way too long. So I hope you enjoyed this. And now let's get on with the tour, shall we? Okay, I've just come up the stairs. This is the top of the staircase here from the main floor. And the first thing we run into is the music area. So here is where I play you my little song. And like I said, I don't know if I did say, but I have 2 pianos, a real piano, which is my preferred instrument, and this keyboard. The keyboard's fine, but I've played all my life on ivory keys, and I find plastic keys a pain. My hands slide all over and I make mistakes and then I get upset with myself. So I do prefer to play on my old piano. But right now it's a little on the sick side, so I'm stuck with this one. But that's just the way it is. So this is one long room. It's not very wide. It looks a lot bigger on camera than it actually is. But I have made this one long room into several different spaces. And you can do this with a room. If you've got, even a small room. When I was in Winnipeg, I had a very small bedroom that I used as a craft room. And even that room, I managed to make little areas where I did different things. And I've done the same thing here. I have more space, that's true, but it's not a huge space, even though it does look big. If I put you on regular, you'll see it's not really all that big. It's pretty cramped. So I have a music area, like I showed you. And over here, in this little area, I put a bookcase there. There's the chimney, and I put a bookcase. And I used to have two, but it really blocked it off. And I actually got rid of one whole bookcase full of books. So in this little area, I have my really, really old recliner and another chair. This is where I like to do a video, you know, the very first parts of my videos with you. If the lighting is good, I need to put a lamp in here because right now it's kind of dark. So this is the recording area, and those are some of my books. And over here, this area is my knitting, crocheting, reading, sometimes napping area. I have a lamp here. I usually have some projects right close by, and then I'll just swing around a little bit, and here is my desk area. Okay, so you can see how close that is to the music area. In here I have some files, some music books, Paul, my camera equipment, and then my desk. Now, this looks really impressive, I know. My brother made this desk for me out of pieces of things he found, and it's a huge desk. This used to be, when I lived in the city, this was all I had in my craft room to work on. I used it as a desk. I had a laptop so I could take the computer off, and I did all my crafting on this space. And I have two computers. It looks impressive. It's really not. That's my old computer. And this is the computer that I just purchased from my son. He works in a college, and I think I explained this before. They had computers that they bought just before the pandemic. And then, of course, the pandemic, the college was closed and they were doing everything online. So when they went back, these were already outdated for the use. So they sold them off at a really cheap price. This computer, I've had this one for years. And so I've got all my patterns. I have all my writing. I have everything on. And I just didn't feel like, well, and the other thing is this computer is not compatible with that printer, but that one is. So I decided to keep that. It doesn't go on the internet anymore. It's just got all my documents. It's got all my patterns. I can print off of it. That's why it's there. This one is the one I use on the internet. So I'm not really tech savvy or any of that stuff. It's just I didn't feel like moving everything over here and having to buy a new printer. End of story. So then we go into, so here's the bookcase. See how it's really not as big as what you think it is. Then we go into, I'm just going to pop this though so you can see better. This area here, this is all my little stuff, like my glue and paint and beads and that kind of stuff that I do use some beads still for making ornaments, you know, cross stitch ornaments, or for embellishing things. I do use paint still. I don't paint, but I do use paints for things. I have buttons in here, all that kind of little small stuff. Glue sticks, all that kind of stuff. And then this table here is my cutting table. And underneath here, this is all scraps. These are all scraps, and those two are scraps. And those are the little scraps that I was telling you about in my last video. I have a lot of little tiny scraps. In this one, I have some bigger scraps, but this is tiny and that's tiny. All those bags of scraps that I showed you are in there. That's where they all are. This here, I'll just pull this out and show you really quick. This is a knitting project that I'm working on, and I've showed this to you before. These are all squares for, what do you call it? I bought it from Annie's Addict, and it was, you got you got a package of stuff every month. What do you call those things? I can't remember. Anyway, I've done this much and I'm still working on it. I haven't finished it yet. So I'm going to start blocking these and start putting it together. But I think I have maybe 10 or 12 more to go, and then I can put the whole thing together. It's an Afghan. So that's what's in there. And I don't know why this lamp won't go on today. It's driving me crazy. So I have a lot of ribbon here, and I have ribbon here. And then I also have ribbon, I'll show you that later. In here, the top one is all, well actually the first two are all my sock yarn. And the bottom is some acrylic yarn that I use for embellishing things, or if I have to use any yarn for ornaments or something, I use that. This table is kind of an everything table. I do all kinds of things on this table. I have some more ribbon there. In these drawers here is my journaling, not writing journaling, but making journals stuff. And over here I have there's journal stuff in the bottom, and then in here, I'll show you, is braids and all kinds of these kind of things for making ornaments. You know, this kind of stuff. And in here as well, a lot more of that. And a lot of that is from my egg making days when I used to do eggery. So I have these two, and when I was doing my purge, I pulled every drawer out and dumped it on the ground and went through it. These two are full of stuff. This one is tucked in the corner because the things in here are stuff that I don't use all the time. So I put it that way. This is more what I'm going to be using. This one is on wheels like this. So if I need to pull this out of here so I can get into that other one, I can do so. So in here is, this is all stuff to make bags with. I actually found this when I did my purge. This, I used to put this in my uniform in the pocket, and it's actually for pens and your Band-Aid scissors, and you know, you can put all kinds of stuff in there. And I thought I could sew that into a pouch or into a bag. So I was going to throw it out, and I thought, no, I might as well use it. So I've got ribbons, I've got fabric. This is just to make bags, all this drawer here. In here is all felt. I've got felt that's backed and felt that's not. And I have some scraps of, what do you call that stuff? It'll come to me. In here, oh yeah, just more leftover pieces of some of those ones that I showed you that I had put together, but I haven't made bags out of yet. So these are going to be into bags. And then down here I've got Ada, and I've got all kinds of fabric pieces in here that I can use for ornaments and stuff. Down here, oh, these are things that I've actually finished in here. So I've got some ornaments. I've showed these to you. I have socks, pairs. I have actually 3 pairs of socks in here that are done. This is sort of my Christmas things that I'm giving for Christmas, so they're in there that I've made. And down here, I don't know, this is just sort of an odds and sods kind of thing. And then here is my sewing table, and this is the big drawer where I found all that fabric. All those pieces of strip material were all down in here. And I think they were like, I did that so many years ago, but I think when we moved, I think I just taped or I put something around this, and I never touched the drawers. I just left them. So, you know, this is just your typical This is still from my mom's old Elna. I have the machine, it's not running, but do you think I can get rid of it? I have some of these with intentions of doing some English paper piecing sometime. These are just spools that have very little thread, but I can use them up. So they're not on the regular spool rack up there. Oh yeah, didn't show you up here. These are a couple of, I'll move this out of the way. These are a couple of rug mugs that I designed. A couple of years ago, I made a series of these. I designed them myself, and I called them the Ladies of Summer. And they were several, there was about 5 or 6 different designs. And these ones I kept for myself just because, I mean, who's going to use that as a rug mug? But I thought it was kind of cute as a little wall thing. I made probably 100 of these kind, different colors, different backings on them. They turned out really cute, and I have a lot of other ones. And then I was contacted. I was selling them to a gift shop in a town closer to Winnipeg, and the lady contacted me and asked me if I could design a gypsy one, because their name was Gypsy something or other, and so I did, and so I added the 6th one on there. But I actually really enjoyed making these. Yeah. And then a couple more little things that I've made. I have a video on these somewhere. And of course, these are the little crochet bears. I used to make these by the millions. This is a breast cancer one I made for myself years ago. It's got a pink halo, pink wings, and the breast cancer ribbon. This is something that Jonathan, my son, colored for me. Oh, he was probably 5. To Mummy from Jonathan. Mummy is M-O-M-I-E, and it's supposed to be a bishop. I don't know why it's up there. I just think it's so cute. So this is my table, and this is the machine I bought a couple of years ago. It's just a regular Singer machine, nothing fancy, has a few built-in stitches. Like I said before, I'm not the biggest sewer. I grew up, my mother was a professional seamstress, so I never had to sew. And when I did sew, we knocked heads all the time, because I didn't do it the way she did it, and it just didn't work out for me. And I never really had to sew because she was a beautiful sewer. So, and here's what I can look at. And the birds sing. They sit up on this roof of ours here, and they sing to me while I work. So it's really nice. This faces south. And then now we're getting to the nook. I have the top 2 drawers are fabric. See? See? And the bottom 2 drawers are acrylic yarn. And so that's what's in this. And this is stash, and this is what I'm trying so hard to clean up. I want to get rid of a lot of this stuff. And there's one of my Chatty Cathys. Somebody made a comment about her. This one is a Canadian Cathy. She is mute, she doesn't talk, but the Canadian made in Canada Cathys are actually very sought after because they have these different eyes. They're called glassine eyes, and they are beautiful. And she's considered a piggy, they call her, but they're the ones that have the long pigtails. She's in beautiful shape. My husband bought her for me, I don't know, probably 20 years ago now. And then over here I've got hanging, this is another one of those things that, I can get this off of here. Just hold on one second. I wanted to show you. This is a satin flower girl dress that I wore for my second oldest brother's wedding in 1964. And my mom made this, and it's satin, and I've always kept it for the material. But I just don't know if I can tear it apart. Beautiful satin. You can't find this kind of stuff anymore. So I just have it hanging here. But someday I could use this material, couldn't I? I could use it in so many things, making ornaments or, oh, I don't know. And then this, what was hanging above it, is something that my Aunt Margaret made. And I know I talk about her a lot, but it is a jewelry holder. She made it on the style of a pieced quilt, and she did some little fancy stitching. But see here, she's hung these findings to hang your jewelry on. So I've just got a couple of pieces here on here. And then here, she's got the same kind of findings on there to hang. You just hook your jewelry on. And then at the bottom, she has some pockets. So there's an idea for your crazy quilting. You can make a jewelry hanger. You saw it here first. And this was her design. I'm going to hang it up somewhere where we can see it better. Or why don't I just put it on the table here? Go this way. That's not very good, is it? Oh, I know where I can hold it. Hold on. I'm going to hang it up on my little... Now you can see it better. So she just sewed some pretty fabrics together and did a little bit of fancy stitching like you would for Crazy Quilt, and then added these little findings on here, little hook and eyes and things like that. Some more little hook and eyes, and then a little pocket at the end. So there's an idea for you, a useful little piece. I should put it down in my bedroom. Maybe I'll do that. Okay, we were in here. This is a little bag I made. I actually made it for my step-granddaughter, and she's no longer my step-granddaughter, as her mother took off and took her children. And so I still have it. It's cute. I even put her initials, Zana. Anyway, there it is. This is just a costume that I intend to use the fabric for. And then this is my stitching area. You've seen this. I've done a little video on this before. So I have cross-stitch books and fabric in there, and thread and special threads here. And then this is my stitching table and my light. I have my Joyful Judy on here. I did a video on her not too long ago. And then over here, this is the only thing that I did not go through. This was my son's toy box, and I know what's in it. That's why I didn't go through. In here is mostly blue jeans that I use for my collage pieces, so I really did not have to go in there at all. And here is some more journal making books that I use. I tear them apart and use different parts of them. And in here is a tote full of buffalo wool. I'm going to stop the camera and open it up for you. White buffalo wool. And I was gifted all this. And it makes, my mom actually, oops, sorry about that. My mom used to make the big Nordic sweaters with this. It's like, it's really heavy stuff. It's like if you put about 4 lopis together. Anyway, it is pure 100% wool. And this comes out of Brandon, Manitoba. They don't make it anymore, but it was produced in the 70s. Yeah, it's 6 strands. It's nice stuff. I don't quite know what I'm going to do. I have a sweater quantity in here, but I haven't got any idea if I'm going to make a sweater out of it or not. And by sweater, I mean an over sweater, like a jacket. That's what she made. And she made one for every one of us kids. We all had, and for my dad, and we all had one of these. And they were heavy, really heavy to wear, but they were super warm. You did not need a coat, even a sweater underneath. They were a coat of themselves. So I still have that. I haven't decided what I'm going to do with it. And here's that box of books that I tear apart for journals. And here is my Sunday morning wrap. I finished it and it's just drying now. I washed it and now it's just getting nice and dry. It turned out really nice, didn't it? It's a very simple pattern, and I will talk more about that in my next video where I'm going to do some knitting things with you. So yeah, and then we're back here again. Oh, and I didn't show you this part. This is my little, I put some hooks on here, and there's the little project bag I made for 1.1K people. This is another one, same pattern, but different bag. And then I have a couple projects in here. I have my stretchers here. And there was another thing I was going to show you, but I can't remember what. Yeah, so, oh, this is going to be another video about bags, because this one is special, and I'll tell you why in another video. Oh, this is what I was going to show you. Speaking of my Aunt Margaret, while I'm doing this, I'm going to show this to you up here. I know I've talked about her so much, but she was such a talented woman. And she created from her imagination a lot of times. And this is something that she made out of pieces of cardboard. And this is my grandfather's house. And it is exactly like my grandfather's house. She made it to scale. She had no pattern, just her imagination. She grew up in this house on the farm. And the barn and the outhouse. I don't think that bale is supposed to be there, but. And she made this at a family reunion, for a family reunion of that family, and it was auctioned off, and I won the auction. It's just lovely. I'll try and find a picture of the house. I did have one out with it, but I don't know what I did with it. But yeah, such talent to get something identically. Everything about this is exactly how Grandpa's house was. And he raised, well, I'm talking about my grandfather. My grandmother passed away 2 weeks after she gave birth to her 9th child. She got pneumonia and she passed away. And my grandfather raised 9 children from the age of 2 weeks to 13 years old, all on his own, on the farm. That's a wonderful story. Someday I'm going to write a little book about that, because it's something that perhaps generations today would find hokey, but I'd be hard-pressed to find many young people today who could do what he did. Anyway, I think I'll end this video right there. So I hope you enjoyed the tour. It's a rather long video, but I wanted to give you a real tour. And I hope you'll come back and visit me in my next video. We're going to be talking about knitting. I have some finished projects to show you, and I have some new starts and some plans. So if you are interested in knitting, the next video is all for you. So enjoy the music. This is my dedication to Hawaii. Have a good week, everybody. See you very soon. Bye for now. In 1974, I bought a little organ. It was a little Yamaha organ, and it had what they call a glide switch on it, which is a little switch
on the expression pedal, which you would hit with your toe, and it would make sort of a wah-wah sound. And in the book, it was a beginner book that came with the organ, was this song. And you use that gliding switch on this song, and it made a little wah-wah song. I don't have that switch on this piano, but I'm going to try and play you the song anyway, even though I don't have the music anymore, and I haven't played it since 1974. We'll see how I go. Here we go. Aloha.